Alright, this is going to be void Linux, and I'm going to see if I can get it to boot and install. I don't know if it will. Okay, so, interesting. So, from what I understand, there is no, like, installer on here that you have to come into the terminal and then run the installer that way. Void dash installer. Okay. So I don't know what the password is. See. All right. So you would have to know what the password is. I don't know what the password is. Log in as root, and the password is void Linux. Okay. Root. What? All right, I don't know. I'm done with it. I don't want to install it anyway. I just wanted to see if that was like how you do it. Come on, dude. Close the window. It's just strange there's no frickin' installer here. Okay, so we're gonna try something else. We're gonna go old school. We had a Debian CD. I want to put it in here. And we'll see what happens. See, when I had that stupid video card in there, it wouldn't give me the screen. We're on Arch Linux again. No. I don't want that. So I need to tell it to boot from the CD, which means I got to come in here and oh god, it's too fast. Fast when I don't need it to be. Slow when I want it to be. Come on, dude. Seriously, this is really like delete. I was too slow again. Yep. Okay. The cd-rom is not showing up. Interesting. Pretty hard to do anything when it doesn't show up. Optimize defaults. I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably do this a few times. I don't know why the CD drive was showing before. I wonder if it's possible, like I screwed it up or something and bumped into something. Huh. It's gonna be Linux again. So I got F12 or delete. We'll just see what F12 says. Okay. We'll do the move up or down, enter. What the fuck? Select the first boot device. Okay. Okay. Well, that's weird. When's the last time you heard that noise? Wow. Is it responding? It seems like it's not. ACPI error. It's going to go to small font or something. Oh, wow, cool. Wow. I mean, I haven't installed something like this in a while, guys. Wow. It's pretty cool. I haven't burned a CD in a couple of months. And before that, probably a couple of years. But I'm glad that I bought these CDs at the thrift store. I bought like a big stack of like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how many are in the stack. Quite a few. Where did I put those? I guess there's probably been a few of them used. But I don't remember what I paid for them. It wasn't too much. Probably... I got another stack of light scribe ones for $4.99. These ones were $5.99. And it'll probably take me a long time to use them. Man, I used to go through CDs like crazy, guys. Oh, man. I miss the days of all that crap. Do not want Void Live. Continue. The mouse works. Okay. So what do we need to do? Root password. Okay. And then what? Alright, so after you do all that fun stuff, click your time zone. Configure the clock. Detect the disk. You hear that damn thing spinning up like crazy. Okay, guided use entire disk. Continue. Select for partition. The disk can be partitioned using one of several different schemes. If you're unsure, choose the first one. Separate home partition. Okay. So basically it does a primary and logical. Interesting. I still don't really understand the science to all the way that you partition and divide up stuff, and the boot, the swap, the home, the root, the blah blah blah. It's like, what the hell? You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about like back in the day before the internet and all that, and you had a computer or something. You know, you had to like, you wanted stuff for it. You had to buy software. You know, you had to like, you couldn't just download something. And like, I don't know in the beginning of like Linux, how did you get like other stuff if it didn't all fit on the CD? I also think the distros were probably a lot smaller, but pre-internet, I think they were trading CDs. I think maybe possibly, mail order distro and stuff. I think some of them you can still do that. You can still get a CD in the mail or something, but it's crazy how things have like changed. I mean, like QRZ and stuff like that started out like mailing people CDs and stuff. They started out like publishing on the packet bulletin boards. I mean, like packet radio and all that stuff, and packet bulletin stuff has been around a really long time, and the computer stuff has been like going on for quite a while. But like the actual like popularization of the internet really didn't. I don't think they actually officially like started the World Wide Web until like I remember seeing ads in magazines in like '94 where I'm like, what the hell is this email address thing? What is www dot whatever, but the www dot craze I think started in '94 really. It was probably earlier than that, but like maybe '92 or something like that. Anyway, a lot of these people and places like QRZ did quite well for themselves by being there at the right time. I mean, I don't know how much money that guy's got, but probably quite a bit from running QRZ, especially because he's found a niche market where he's convinced everybody that QRZ is like the FCC's authority on the call sign database when it's just not the case. But at any rate, as I was thinking, this is a net install CD, which means that you have the bare bones system on the CD because, we're not using a DVD, we're using a CD-R. I guess it's called a CD-R, but anyway. Back in the day, if you didn't have internet, what would you do? I don't think you could install it this way. And when I did it back in the day, you basically burned a CD and you hoped it worked. And if it didn't have all the drivers that you needed and you couldn't get your internet to work, like in my case, Wi-Fi, because back then, where I lived in Everett, Washington, I was living on somebody else's property away from the main house in a trailer in the back, and there was no running 100 and something feet of Ethernet to the connection at the front of the house, and there was no phone line either. Actually, later on, we ended up getting a huge roll of phone line and adding a second line out there. It was quite wild. So I got to experience the dial-up blah, 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 crap, AOL. It was interesting. I remember downloading music and stuff and all kinds of crazy stuff. I was like, just getting into computers at that time, because I spent a long time in prison. I didn't get to enjoy computers from '94 to 2004, except for ones that they had in there. And, I learned a little bit, but they only let you, do so much in the classes that you can take and whatnot. But I tried to learn as much as I possibly could when I was in there, trust me. But anyway, the whole dial-up thing in 2004. And then went on for like about maybe a little while. And then it became all the big craze was DSL, dedicated service line. Because before, you couldn't do anything else. So, anyway, waiting for this thing to install, and I was just kind of thinking, man, it's been so long since I've installed any kind of operating system from a CD. Like, everything's just like done from a USB stick. And it's crazy. Looks like it's almost done. Installing the base system. Configuring APT. What does it say? Scanning installation media, find the label. You now have the option of scanning additional media for use by the package manager. Normally should be from the same set as the booted. If you do not have any additional media, this step can be skipped. See, this is kind of what I was thinking of. If you wish to scan more media, please insert another one now. Cool. Yeah, so pretty crazy. Configure your package manager. I guess that's, I don't know, probably this Berkeley EDU one I think is usually pretty good. Configuring APT. So I thought it was already hooked to the internet, but I guess maybe just now. So I don't think you can really get it installed without a connection, but maybe. I think it would be pretty hard. Which kind of sucks when you think about it, because it's like, well, why do they need to do all this stuff the way they do it? You know, it's like everything nowadays is done online. It's like all these people playing games on Steam, and they buy a game, and what happens if they just decide that they're not going to support it anymore? They just turn off the servers and you can't play it, you know? What about all the cloud-based crap? The cloud strike. Why would you want all your crap in the cloud so they can just shut it off? You have internet, you know, problems, you have no access to it. You know, and like people nowadays are like, oh my god, my internet's down. It's like, who cares? I mean, you know, but I come from a different time period, but yeah, I get it. So all their stuff is connected to that. But I don't know. I just think people would need to learn to be less reliant upon the internet connection for everything. And, you know, it sucks because everything's moving even worse. I mean, like, you know, cloud this, cloud that, you know, servers and servers and servers. I mean, you can't even install a copy of Windows without, like, being connected to the internet, I don't think. You can, with 10 still you can, but I heard it with 11, it's, like, almost impossible. So, you know, with all the game systems and stuff, too, it's crazy. And what sucks is, like, I remember going from the Xbox 360 to Xbox One. An Xbox 360, you pop the game in, you play it, you're good to go. Xbox One, you pop the game in, and you have to wait an hour and a half before you can even do anything. And I don't know if the PS4 is that way, too. It seemed like it, probably. But what happened to the days where you just, like, you owned the game, and it was perfect. You could play it. You didn't have to download for an hour. You know. Now, my other thing is, I'm not a big fan of, like, a CD versus a cartridge, you know, like, because it can get scratched. They have, you know, read errors. Why are they using CDs in these systems still? And, you know, the Blu-rays, you know, like, why are we using this? This is a sensitive format that all it has to do is get scratched, and it's useless. But I don't want the digital license either. The only thing that's cool about the digital stuff is, like, if you get somebody's used console that has a ton of games that were digitally purchased, but then as soon as that person decides to log that account out of there, they're not there anyways. So, it's one of these things where I just think CDs and digital accounts kind of suck. I prefer, you know, the old Nintendo way that, like with the Nintendo Switches, you know, those cartridges are cool. They're just basically a fancy little SD card. You know, and then prior to that, you know, you had the DS stuff. Uh, and then, you know, back in the day, the Nintendo was all cartridges. You know, the Ataris were all cartridges. They weren't using CDs. And then all of a sudden they decided they were going to use a CD. Like, well, why? You know? I think the original PlayStation was like those black discs. I think those were like CDs of some kind. I don't think they were DVD format, but at any rate, um, I remember playing the PS1 back in like 2004, 2005. And to me, it seems like it really wasn't that long ago. But it was like 20 years ago. It's just crazy. It seems like it was better times back then. The system may anonymously supply the distribution with developers and statistics. If you choose to participate, automatic subscription will run once a week, sending statistics to the distribution developers. This choice can be later modified. At least they put the default no. So yeah, I think in the early 2000s, the late 2000s, I think, you know, before 2010, I think things were like, you know, I don't know, they're just a lot better. Now, in 2008, like, they planned all that crap. Okay, at the moment, only core system is installed. To tune the system to your needs, you can choose to install one or more of the following predefined collections of software. So we could go ahead and I wonder what GNOME Flashback is. Cinnamon, Mate, LXDE, LXQT. It's set to do GNOME. I'm trying to think if I want to change this. We'll just try GNOME for now. If I don't like it, I can come back in tomorrow and redo it. It's getting late. It's getting real late, so I need to hurry up and finish this up. $100 something of 1300. 31 seconds remaining. Boy, this is a really slow process. My God. Holy moly. Install the grub bootloader. You need to make the newly installed system bootable by installing grub. The bootloader by installing the grub bootloader on a bootable device. The usual way to do this is to install grub to your primary drive UEFI partition boot record. You may install grub to a different drive or alright, anyway. I don't know if you were supposed to click on it or what. Boy, this is taking way longer than I thought it would. This is taking longer than installing Arch Linux. So I don't think this is going to happen real fast either. I think it's got to do with how bad this computer sucks. Wow, that's retardedly silly. Oh, you can't say that, can you? Retardedly means slowly. Holy crap. That was really, really slow. Holy moly. Okay. Good Lord. All right. Looks pretty normal so far. Lord, this is slow. And now it's 5 in the morning. Holy crap. I seriously think this thing has been going for over an hour. Because I didn't film the whole thing, trust me. But it's way slow. Way slow. I just think this computer's just not quite up to the task of just what I'm going to do while it's doing its thing. I'm going to put the cover back on the computer, I guess. And try and get this thing like buttoned up. I'm going to bed. This is ridiculous. As soon as I do this, it'll probably screw up. Lights on this thing are really bright. And there we are, we're in Debian 12. Let's see. That seemed a little delayed also. I don't want that on. I don't want to connect to my accounts. Alright. Looks like Ubuntu. Yeah, it's a little slow. I am done with this thing till I get a nap. Alright. This is the goofiest case ever. Anyway, this kind of stuff used to be kind of popular. The thing I don't like about it is the power switch and all that's in there. And if the CD drive decides to go wonky, it's going to hit the front of the case. So, anyway, that's it for me.